Good afternoon. It is the 26th of May 2019. Everybody's looking at Bitcoin, but I'm more interested in what's going on with the cryptocurrencies. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a quick look at the disclaimer. It's not financial advice or recommendations, just market observation. Before we jump in, let's take a look at what's going on with Coin right off the start. Lots of hurt people on this trade. Up 500% and down all of it in a day. So, of course, it seems like a pump and dump. It seems like an organized pump and dump from a coin that has little to no usage, little to no market, little to no marketing, gone sideways, and where somebody could just accumulate and accumulate. Somebody with a lot bigger pockets than I do and a lot bigger kahunas to be driving a market up this much, knowing what they're going to be doing at the top. And who knows if it's intentional or not, but there's a couple times where this very same thing has happened. And I recall observing in the past as there was a huge buy wall underneath the prices as prices were going up, massive buy wall. And it seemed weird. And then prices that buy wall disappeared. They started to sell and took everybody's profits from these moves up. So a lot of people really got screwed here today because this is a margin traded market on Poloniex, where not only can the massive selling start, but then we also have the opportunity for all sorts of short selling going on. Let's go on to take a look at what's going on just at the four markets. Here's Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Stellar. In the day charts, really looking hugely bullish. And I'm going to zoom in now to the 1 minute bars on all of these. This is US dollar price. Now I'm going to zoom into here we are zoomed into the Bitcoin price and the Litecoin, Ethereum, Stellar versus Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin started to take off here, we could see that Ethereum, Stellar, and Litecoin all initially dropped on some panic selling, but they're rebounding quickly and gaining ground again. And we can see that Bitcoin versus US dollar took off, likely a little sooner, and then these ones started to come along a bit after, and they're catching up now. So those little bits of change right at the very beginning aren't going to have much effect when we start to look at this from the really long-term view compared to the amount of volume of trading coming into the cryptocurrency markets right now. This is the 5-year weekly chart of cryptocurrency altcoin market cap. So while we're on this live show, what I want to do is answer the question, what is Bitcoin doing to the alts? And thank you guys for tuning in. Small group here. We're on a focused channel, so let me know where you are from. And if you were trading Clam Coin. Now let me mute and pause here for a second. I'm going to leave the charts on this. Let me know where you're from. I'm going to answer this text on my phone. And I'll be back to continue on. We'll go through these cryptocurrencies and we'll update this spreadsheet to find out, are the cryptos really in trouble and crashing down to new lows? Are they holding their bottom formations? Let's see in a minute. Alrighty. Hey, good to have you along, Peter. Eric, good to have you here. And Wojote, good to have you here as well. What I want to do in this video, it's sort of impromptu because everything's all taking off as it is, and I want to observe what is going on with the alts. Are their alts going to go up with Bitcoin, or are they going to get crushed? And all along I've been observing the Bitcoin market cap. No, this is Bitcoin dominance. And we can see at the beginning of April until now, Bitcoin dominance has been rising, and that's been crushing all of the altcoins. And I've been looking at this chart. Let's go to the long-term view. I've been looking at this chart, which is the altcoin versus dominance chart since 2015, and we see the big bull market in alts here and it here as prices were moving. So recently, April the 1st, Bitcoin started to increase in dominance, and the altcoin market cap versus dominance started to pull back here at the very same as all of the alts. And this turns out to be like an average of what all the alts are doing. So this isn't looking good as we're starting to zoom in on it now, because we had this capitulation low. I was anticipating this would be a bull flag and that this would be continuing, but Bitcoin dominance is picking up and this is sliding off. And we can see that, of course, in Clamcoin, it's getting hammered hard. But this is an intentionally manipulated market by much bigger hands than my poker hand. However, when I first started out trading, I lost all my money twice, like all of it. And it took me years to get back to where I could start trading again. And I'm certain it was a move like this, an unexpectedly large move that just took me out. And then I couldn't trade for a long time. And when I did get back into trading, I started to learn what I should have learned before I got into trading. It's sort of like learning about traffic after you start crossing the street and you get run over. It's best to know to look both ways before you cross the street. And so if you've gotten routed in one of these things, if you got screwed over in your trading, and this has happened to you more than one time, I want you to put $1 into your education. And I want you to go over to the link in the description below, digitalcurrencytraders.com/alerts, and check out the alerts package. Even if you just ignore all of everything on here and you sign up for that $1 package for the 7 days and you go through this training, this is the stuff that I needed to learn before I got successful at trading. Some hard knocks, and I still have these lessons to learn. There's still always ways to improve in them. And I put all of this training together before you get to the alerts themselves, so that you know how to handle them, know how to handle the risk and to protect yourself against these kind of moves that can take you out in the market. They're unexpected moves, absolutely crushing and demoralizing. And so I want you to go over, if this has happened to you in any market, go over and join me there, because I've done this too. It's happened to me as well. And then you're screwed. You're a bag holder. You're just sitting on it. Either that, or you did a margin trade and now you're just like you lost all the other good coin that's going up in value. It's difficult, for sure. Hey, Ireland. Ireland. Isn't it Ireland? Or is it, I think it's Ireland, where the MaidSafe coin has their main office. Anyway, I love the accent. What if the 12-hour and 1-day close at around 8K and we go down from here? What's the probability for that? I approach the markets with the assumption that my job is to tell when I'm wrong, and then it's the market's job to tell me how correct I am. So I try not to mix up my job and the market's job, and making predictions of where the market is going to do, where it's going to go, it's kind of the market's job. We can use these Fibonacci's, But it's up to the market. Once you get into a trade that proves you correct, you set your stop losses above your entry and you let the market decide how correct you are. And then, of course, as a cryptocurrency commentator and a Bitcoin trading predictionist on the internet, everybody wants to have a prediction. Where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? Everybody wants the answer to that. And the answer is just manage your losses and add on to the ones that are correct. Keep your stop losses above your entry and put your hands under your butt and wait. And you'll get those big long trends that turn into the enormous profits. Then the second stage is to be watching for the top formations, because the top formations are the same thing as the bottom, just upside down. And that's when you decide when you're getting out of the trade. So then the market is telling you when to get out by watching for those top formations. So if you watch the video from earlier today, I was looking at this as a top formation. And the potential was there. It was proving itself out statistically, making the 1, 2, 3 top formation. The prices were easing off. The exponential moving averages were coming close together, right to decision point here. And so when this was unfolding, I was commenting in our Discord chat. If I could just drag that over here. Way back up here. So we're monitoring the Bitcoin dominance and the altcoin versus dominance. And as this is breaking down, I'm documenting the potential for short positions here. Add on to the short position as it's going down. It's proving you correct. And here's the way to enter into the trade. Then a little bit later, as prices are coming back up here, I put a note on saying that because prices drop on the elevator and they rise on the stairs, and because this is not dropping like it's a stone, then it's time to close the small exploratory short trade and just watch. There's nothing. So I got a chance to manage my entry and get out. If it wasn't proving me correct, then I just sit on my hands and I just wait again until I see one of these indicators changing directions. Then we were reviewing some of the altcoin profits that are coming in right now from our alerts. I'll have to go back and review those now. As the breakout was happening, I went and reviewed the RSI and the MACD and everything so that we could have documentation of what it was actually doing just before the breakout. Now we'll monitor it and start zooming in to check to see where is it running out of steam. But I'm not expecting it to run out of steam. If I'm going to be a predictionist, now that it's broken above these levels, I have to go to the 5-year view. Oh, yeah. Well, it's easily going to hit $11,000, $12,000. Really. Like the 9,600, it could bump against that. It could top. And now it's just a matter of watching for the top formation, watching for the top, watching for the top, watching for the top. And there's nothing else to do but hold your position. And just like with clams, anything that's already going up, I won't jump on. I'm too late. And it's okay. There's a whole bunch of other markets that we could get into. The markets always are moving. I want to wait till it comes down to a consolidation pattern like this and make my decision at the consolidation. So I'm watching for these moments here. And this was really hard because it's consolidating right to a nice point here. And then it's going short. This is a positive for going short. And you had to be right on your guard right away to know that it is a fake down breakdown. What do you call a bear trap? And if we do zoom in on that, the indicators were showing divergences that were indicating that this isn't going to keep going down. There wasn't enough volume. It wasn't deep enough. The RSI was diverging against it. It didn't have the momentum to go down if you're watching for that dip. So as for purchasing in, it could go higher and you could just buy it right now But you know what? You don't need to have a trading plan except for flipping a coin. If it goes heads, you go long. If it goes tails, you go short. And you go short with 20% of your position or long with 20% of your position. If it doesn't prove you correct within a half an hour, you take that trade off and you take that loss. Start again. If it proves you correct, you hold it and you add on to it. And statistically, over time, you will end up being a winning trader. Of course, I don't trade that way. I wait for the 1, 2, 3 bottoms. And so Bitcoin came, we were watching it way long ago for these 1, 2, 3 bottoms and watching them nest inside each other as it was all deploying here. And all of our buy signals were back here. And then they're just hold all the way along as these exponential moving averages are not crossing over. Oh, it's crazy. It's straight up from here, and I'm glad I'm holding on to what I've got. Now, the big question is, what else is going on in the alts? Because we already know that Clam has been absolutely murdered. And now that it's done this panic sell, you bet you it's probably going to jump all the way back up here before the next wave down. I wouldn't touch it. I'm not, no, that's not my trading pattern. But I don't mind predicting it. I don't mind taking a look at it and then looking at the on balance volume getting to be less selling down here. The big panic has already happened. The big spike happened here. There'll still be more selling going on. More people panicking and coming in here late and then selling it out. That's a tragedy to see that huge move. It was such a beautiful chart and there was no top formation. There was no 1, 2, 3 top formation to take action on. Where are we? So much to learn, so little time. Yes, indeed. Now, the purpose of this channel is to go over a specific trading methodology over and over and over and over again. If you want to know more about that trading methodology, be sure to go over to the website digitalcurrencytraders.com. You can just go to the home page and sign up for the free chapter so that you get this trading plan that we are following here. It's the very same trading plan. You'll get the PDF and you'll get access to the spreadsheet that we're working on up here as well. We've got people usually logged in checking that out. This is May 26th. And what I'm going to do is update each of these currencies. We'll leave this on Bitcoin. And I'm going to go through all of these currencies quickly to say, is it a fail? Is it a near fail? Or is it still neutral or a pass? And those have requirements of, we're looking for a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So prices have come down from the latest downtrend until the 13th of May for most of them. They made a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and many coins were breaking out of this bottom formation. We're going to check those out. But now that Bitcoin is broken out, let me clear this off and start zooming in and start zooming in. This is still above the recent lows, and the selling is less. So this one stays as a near fail in our chart. Near fail, not a fail. If it breaks down below this number 1 point here, that's a fail. Atom is our next one, and it is a near fail as well. It's pulled back a little bit, but not as deep. I'll put it near fail just to be a little bit more bearish maybe. Basic attention token. So be sure to go over to the website and get that free chapter from the book. And don't wait till later and go and download it in 6 months and say, and then you look back and say, wow, what if only I'd have known that stuff. And it's not because I think I'm a genius that I've made this stuff up. It's things that I learned from back in 1994 to 1998. I wrote it into a trading plan, and it really has worked well for me through all of these different cryptocurrency bull markets. This one I'm going to mark it as a fail. Even though it is above these levels back here, it's below these levels, I'm just going to mark it as a fail for our bullishness index. All right. Do you have Dent? I can go over any of the markets that you want. There's only a few of us hanging out here going through this routine, but I can go over any market that you want. I can just interrupt it because I want to go through this to update the spreadsheet so that I have this data for my own self and for anybody else who's watching and following along. But yes, we can pause and do DNT. Otherwise, I could just record this and upload it. Doing it live is more fun. Binance, I'll actually leave that back on Poloniex for this window. And I'll use this window for Binance. Filter to BTC and get rid of the favorites. So now I'm ready to look for Dent. Is that right? Dent. Dent is actually showing strength. It's one of the only ones that's showing strength. And look at the crossover of the MACD indicator here, certainly supporting it. We got nice volume coming in. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. I'm glad you brought this up. And everybody who is on this stream, oh, look at this volume from, this is a pretty new coin. This has got some pretty interesting volume patterns going on. High five. Thanks for sharing that one. That's a beautiful takeoff. And we're looking at the 1-day chart. So on the 12-hour chart, the exponential moving averages have already crossed over. There's a really good buy signal that crosses all of the requirements that we're looking for. So for this simple trading plan, it's called simple because it is, but it's not easy to do. So don't confuse the name simple with easy. Or simple with low power. That's not the case at all. This is a break of the downtrend line. And then at the bottom of that downtrend line, we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And on the 12-hour time chart, our exponential moving averages are crossing over. Those are three things that I use to try to filter out the pump and dumps, the fake out breakouts, and try to get down to the real trend changes when the tide is changing and it's not just a wave coming up. Even though that's the case, I would say 6 out of 10 times these fail when they come down to a beautiful 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Everything all sets up and it's perfect. 6 out of 10 times they fail, which means that you've got to be super ready with your risk control rules right at the very beginning of a trade. And there's 2 risk control rules. One is to limit, so you have a very small position to begin with until it gives you some profit to protect your assets. And the second is that you only hold something that proves you correct, and you don't hold it if it's not proving you correct, which is really hard to do, and you have to practice that. It is difficult to do. Now, we're going to go back to the routine here, and I'm going to continue on. If you've got a coin you want me to check out, let me know. What is this? BCH ABC. So here is an example of buying in, setting my orders and my stop loss. So I got wicked in on a move up, and then prices came back to my nice and close stop loss and kicked me out. So it's a failed trade loss of about 4 or 5% on that. And now back to watching on this. So if I look at the 3-month view on this, this would be neutral. It's not near failing. It's not near breaking out. So it loses its alert status and goes back to neutral. BCN was a fail and still is holding at a fail, but there's some volume and buying coming in on that. So I'll put it in near fail. No, fail. Make it come up 1 Satoshi to get a near fail status. Okay, this is near fail status where it's a 1, 2, and it's come back to make a new number 3 point, but hasn't broken down below the recent lows. That's good. Let's keep those up. Bitcoin itself, of course, is a hold still. Hey, Eric, I'm glad you love the Discord channel. And for anybody else who wants to join the Discord channel, there is a link in the description down below. But let me now just copy and paste it into place. First of all, here is the alerts to go to. And I'll put the Discord chat in here in a second. I don't know why that didn't copy and paste. Let's continue on. BitShares also, that was a near fail before, but you know what? This is an example of a market that held. It didn't even come back to this number 1 point here. Look at this beautiful little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Off it went. Prices came back and they've held as Bitcoin went up. They didn't flinch. That's pretty good. So I'm going to leave it as neutral, but I'll bet you that'll be an alert pretty soon. So clams, of course, has gone into a fail status. Actually, it's a cold fish. So that would be blue for exit. I got to see that again. Oh, brutal. Really brutal. So FOMO buying at the end. There's a lesson. If you didn't learn it from watching somebody else and you had to learn it yourself, take solace. I've had to take those lessons myself as well. I've probably not done it either. Now, that's one of the reasons I work at putting my trades on in small bits, and I only do the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations. It's taken me a while to put all of these different things together. It's sort of like driving a stick shift car in heavy, busy city traffic. It takes a while to practice everything until it becomes subconscious. This was an alert you can see here that we had laid out, and it didn't come and wick us in and pull us back, but a lot of other people, maybe some bots, really saw this taking off and bought into it. Now it's pulled back, but nowhere near what Bitcoin has done, and I like that. So it goes from an alert status back to neutral, but really, that's phenomenal. That's really bullish for it to pull back only to this neutral status. I'm very happy to be seeing what we're seeing initially here. So Dash took a pullback and it's recovered a little bit. It's inside a much larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation now. So it's gone from being green to being neutral, and it'll probably be in neutral for a while. Decreed was near a bottom and it has failed. Oh, I don't want to see fails. I don't want to see things that have come down to these lows and then broken down lower. These are supposed to be bottom formations that are holding and turning around. And that's not proving us correct now. This May 13th low has just been killed. If any of them are going down below that May 13th low, that's bad. And it's probably going to be, well, maybe it's just the average of them, because this is the average of all of them. Maybe it's just the extraordinary one so far that is breaking down to those levels. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So here's our Discord if you guys want to join into that. Happy to have you along. We talk about cryptos and Bitcoin all day, all night. What are we looking at here? Digibyte? No, this is Decreed, the fail. Digibyte, are you failing? No, you're not failing. Oh, here we go. This is a test trade for our email updates from the alerts. The alerts package is being upgraded now. We're testing email alerts so that as a price is triggered in the spreadsheet, you immediately get an email about it. Then you can go and check it out yourself. Something that we're seeing in all of these markets is a little uptrend and then a breach of that uptrend, which I really don't like. Those are the very early stages of exiting a trade. So if I'm looking at the 1 hour bars, we have a 1, 2, 3 top formation, exponential moving average crossover, the uptrend line break. These are all exit signals for a top formation, and I don't like that. The more of these we see at the same time Bitcoin is breaking out, altcoins are definitely pulling back, and this is the first bit of it. If you've got a nice profitable spot in this, you might want to consider tightening up your stops. Some of mine, I'll leave my stops just above my entry and I'll let it come all the way to my stop and play it out and see what happens. But this is the first early warnings of that potential for everything to turn this way, and it's certainly showing up that way. No, I didn't get to Litecoin. Let's just jump right ahead. Where is it? Litecoin, I want to do two different charts on. Let's go over here. So I can go to favorites. Litecoin BTC. And then Litecoin USD. Woo! Litecoin USD is keeping up to Bitcoin. And that's why Litecoin versus Bitcoin is gaining as well. It's because Litecoin versus US dollar is gaining as fast as Bitcoin. So this is keeping up. And initially, if we go into the 1 day and we go into these 1 minute bars and pull this back, look, as soon as Bitcoin was starting to take off, Litecoin had an initial dump. There was an initial panic, and then look at all the buying volume collecting this stuff up. For me, this is like kicking the tree that's covered with snow, and there's a second later before all of the snow dumps on you. So as soon as this comes down, then everybody's panic dumping right after that, right into the institutional hands, and they are just lapping it up, and away it goes. And so it's the same thing with clams, but on a much greater scale, and probably by a very small group of people. And it's likely that you could go to Poloniex and see in their data which accounts were directly tied to those price movements and the profits that came out of those things in clams. It's got to be traceable. So Litecoin, 1 year view. This is, wow, just look at this crossover here. This is really great while we have this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation at historically incredibly significant levels. Just happens to match across history for one of the most important significant levels as prices came down to that, all the way back to forever in Litecoin's price. And then we have this crossover of the MACD indicator, which isn't always definitive, but it crossed over here, it crossed over here. So we're not done yet, but it looks great. How far are we going up with Litecoin? I think Litecoin is going to $1,000 to $800 to $1,000 US. If we go to the 5-year view, that means it's going to be, let me get rid of Bitcoin in the background. $400, $800, for sure. These are the early stages of insanity. And let me go and search, and I'll... there. I should have this bookmarked. I don't know how many people have seen this. All of the world's money markets in one visualization. This is out of date. It was from October 26, 2017. So if we go back and we take a look at what the value of cryptocurrencies is versus the biggest companies in the world. So Bitcoin, let's just assume that it's the same as this, or twice the size, whatever. Compared to Apple, compared to Microsoft, it's small. And it's going to be more worldwide and bigger than these companies are. But this gets really important when we start to compare it to the 50 richest people. Any one of them could buy all the cryptocurrency in the world. All of it. Just one person. California's gross domestic product. The currencies of the world, USA, Eurozone, China, Japan. Here's gold in the world. There's the stock markets, United States stock market, compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's one square. If 10% of the stock market value goes into Bitcoin, we're going up 10 times. It's crazy. If Bitcoin's going to make $1 million, it's going to go up $1,000 a day for almost 3 years straight, every single day. So we've got a long ways to go yet, but there's going to be days where there's a big amount of this money moving into Bitcoin, and we're not ready for the idea of how much money this is. Look at the global money supply. And this is pretty big if you think Bitcoin is just one of these squares. And part of the global money supply hits Bitcoin. We haven't seen a trickle of it yet. This is the global debt. This is the value of the global real estate. And this is the big one. This is the derivatives. So the dark squares, all those dark squares, who could count all those dark squares? That's the low end, the estimate of the derivatives market. If we go to the high end estimate, it's these gray included as well as the dark. And Bitcoin, as you see it right there, one square compared to all of this. We have no concept of this kind of money moving into cryptocurrencies yet. And so when we take a look at Litecoin chart over a long period of time, do the logarithmic view, it just gets wrecked because of this chart. So I do believe these are going way up and up and up. And the smartest thing to do as an investor is to work as hard at whatever you can do to make money, buy the stuff, put it out for lending, and forget it. Don't jump in and out, in and out, in and out. You don't need to. You just sit back and wait. And I guess we really want to watch for the top formations. Now that we have these fantastic bottom formations lined up, what is this? This is the weekly view. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation just breaking out. Enormous. I just get so pumped when I see these things because when you compare the size sideways and stand it up, that's what we're going to get. In other words, if I take this bottom formation sideways, and if there was a way I could just clone this and change the direction without moving it. Your eye never gives you the same measurement, but that's where we're going out of this bottom formation. And then it'll consolidate, and then we're on our uptrend. It's crazy, this bottom formation that we're coming out of right now. Crazy. And this is the US dollar value. Then we have the Bitcoin value. Go to the 5-year view of the Bitcoin value. So it's always stayed, more or less in line with the value of Bitcoin. But I think for my own thinking I think that Litecoin is going to outstrip Bitcoin in movement. And I think this is while Bitcoin may go from 10,000 to 30 or 40,000, Litecoin is going to go from 100 to 800 to 1,000, which means this is going to go up 8 to 10 times while Bitcoin goes up 4 to 5 times. That's my thinking, is Litecoin is going to outperform Bitcoin. Ethereum as well is going to outperform Bitcoin. My thinking. And the reason for that is all of those, here we go, look at that. Broke that formation and down it's coming for Digibyte. So Digibyte was now, I'm going to go to the 4-hour view, and it's you could call it a cold fish now. We could call this an exit with everything else that's happening. I would be an early exit. Let me do that. Now I've lost the live chat here. People are waiting for a 40% correction in Bitcoin to buy more. What do you think about that? I just got burned by my alts as well, Bolt burns. And that's okay. That's why I'm doing this, is to survey them. Because I want to get that the objective view of where is this exactly? And not just panic over one that's breaking, but these top formations, we've seen these happen before as they've come up and broke these uptrend lines. It's important. Every time we've seen an uptrend line like this, where we have 3 different points of an uptrend line that's coming up to a potential 1, 2, 3 breakout, coming up to a great high here, 1, 2, 3 top formation. As that moving average crossed over, it was a little bit late, but here again is another one of those exit points. We're in a major downtrend. And I want to digress a little bit while I'm here. What's the timestamp? 41 minutes. So 41 minutes, thereabout-ish. I want to go back to BitShares. Go to the 5-year view and reflect on where we were. I guess I have to do the 1-year view so we get daily charts. You see the similar formation now. Prices are making this run up. We got a little bit of a good thing going on with the alts. And then we can see Bitcoin in the background staging a little higher, staging a little higher. And as it starts to go, the alts are pulling back. Here's our first early stage warning in September 10th to the 19th. So up to the beginning of October, we had enough time here to be justifying and rationalizing. But really, on this break of that uptrend line, it was done. Right there. And we've seen many more of those. Now, the thing I wanted to point out here is that right at this point that I just circled, BitShares was worth 1,000 Satoshi. And Bitcoin, just for easy math, we'll say it was worth $800. 1,000 Satoshi, worth $800. Now I'm going to zoom into the present. And we're going to imagine that BitShares are now 1,000 Satoshi and Bitcoin is at $8,000. So we were at 1,000 Satoshi back then in 2016, and we're at 1,000 Satoshi today. Just rough math, just for easy concept. And back in 2016, Bitcoin was at $800, and now it's at $8,000. So our 1,000 Satoshi is worth 10 times the amount of money. These markets are actually up 10 times what they were in 2016. And what that means to me is that they have a long ways they could still go down. And we're in a downtrend. So this is the detail with these cryptos, is that we're not done yet. Now back to the 1-year view, there's our downtrend. We are looking for the bottom formations, and that's what I hunt for, and I'll continue to watch for them. But now let's go back to the 2016 chart again, and look how long Bitcoin went up and up and up, where the alts just continued to go down and down and down through this whole trend, right until March of 2017. So we were on a bad divergence here all the way along, where Bitcoin's going up and the alts are just getting crushed. So really important to pay attention to these breaks that are happening right now, because we don't know. This could be what's coming up next, as Bitcoin is going to continue up and up and up. So the trend is your friend. If we are in a downtrend, we've got to pay attention to that. If Bitcoin's in an uptrend, we got to pay attention to that. The world just knows more about Bitcoin right now. It's getting all the attention. It's the fan favorite. Everybody's forgetting about their alts. All the alt holders are dumping it to the institutions, and it's all going to be blasting off. So it's a tough one. So it's really tough for me to sell any of my alts, because I see what's going on here with the overall altcoin market cap. That's a tongue twister. And what I see here is the volume that's coming in these past few months is insane compared to all of the history of altcoins in the past. No matter where we go back, there's no volume of trading that's going into altcoins like we see now. And we're at these historical lows. I think that both Bitcoin and the altcoins are going to go, and I'm staking my bets on that. But the thing is, with this stream, and I get off track a little bit, is to go through this spreadsheet down below here and keep tracking it, so that we can see specifically, subjectively, objectively, I don't know my left from the right either. So we can see objectively where that bottom really turns so that we know when to go put the nitro on full blast into alts. That's my thinking. That's my idea. Yeah, clams killed a lot of people. That's a shitty one. That's a just plain old blatant manipulation. There's no two ways about it. That's just manipulation. And aggravated because you've got the margin traded market over on Poloniex. And the thing is, this isn't a remarkable currency. It's not some new thing that is changed and updated as far as I know. It was just supply and demand where somebody just scooped it all up and then they just continued buying and left a big buy wall underneath it. So that gets everybody. They took a whole bunch of profits here and then they put the buy wall underneath and they're just following it up, waiting. As soon as Bitcoin starts to go, they just dumped on it. Everybody's looking the other way and just got hammered before you can react. I don't know what's happening next, but I probably going to bounce way up now just to screw everybody else over, and everybody who just closed their trade is going to be pulling their hair out by the roots. Been there, done that, and nervously watching Factum because I put a trade in on that and I got out. It was looking good. It didn't prove me correct. I got out. Luckily, it's good timing. Where are we now? On the spreadsheet, we're only up to Doge. Doge. It's still inside the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I'm glad to see that. So it's a near fail. Yeah, clams, what a killer. EOS, I'm liking it. This is actually a trade formation that is holding up. That's a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up there. Oh, there's another one that really got panic sold and then bounced back up hard out of that. So Litecoin, Ethereum, Stellar did much the same things here. Got a fire truck coming by here right away. I like this. In fact, this one is going to stay as an alert. And I'll leave the recording going. It might get loud. Nope. Good. Ethereum Classic stays neutral. It's not down far enough to say it's a near fail. It's still inside this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I like it. Ethereum, what did you do? You're still neutral. You stayed inside this 1, 2, 3 bottom. I thought it was cracking and going to be going down much further. But if we zoom right in, we can see that it did react strongly, but then recovered back to where it was. So overall, Ethereum could not have gone up as fast as Bitcoin. It has to be back and lagging a little bit, Ethereum versus US dollar. So here's Ethereum versus US dollar. And you would have to, relatively, it hasn't moved up as much. Stellar's doing good. Litecoin's doing good versus US dollar. And so Ethereum holds its neutral status. So we're not getting, the alts are not getting crushed. There's not that many. Now this was already a fail and a near fail. It moved itself up to neutral, but it's back into fail territory. It was a sell signal quite a while ago. Sell signal up here as this moving average crossed over, as things were dumping down here. We were talking about the sell signal in it. And as this was building up, I'm going to draw this in. This was catching my eye. I was going to look at these pre-pump patterns, but they're actually exhaustion candles. Actually, they're exhaustion candles. So pre-pump or exhaustion, that is a question when we're looking at all of those patterns from now on. 1 month. So every time I look at it and say, look at this pre-pump pattern, I want you to remind me that could be an exhaustion candle. And you can just write it in the chat. Foam, it's a near fail. Game, I'm not expecting much. Sure enough, I'll leave it as a fail. Gas was a fail last time we did this scan, and it's up to a near fail now. It's actually holding up here. I like to see that I'm watching for things that are going from something to a fail, from a near fail to a fail, from neutral to a fail. Those are all bad for the alts in general. Gollum Network token holds its neutral status. That's bullish for the alts so far. Grin also holds its status. Well, I guess it's pulled back to neutral. This isn't a trading, right? This isn't trading. It's not saying buy or sell. It's just bullish, bearish, neutral. That's it. If you want to know about buying and selling signals, then you want to have specific numbers. You want to have risk control rules. You want to know when to get in, when you're going to get out, specifically, exactly, before you put the trade on. So here's another example. Let me clear this off and observe this. Three higher lows and a breach. It was an alert. Now it's turned into neutral at the best. Library credit was a near fail and down to a fail. That's too bad. Really. Loom. This is holding its own. It's holding it into a neutral stance. That's good. LPT, I don't know this market. I haven't read up on it at all, but I like this little cup shape at the bottom. I like all this volume. I think that'll do something over time. It stays, I'm going to put it neutral actually, not a near fail. Because of the cup shape here, it's holding its own. If it was easing off of that, I would leave it as a near fail. But that little bit of a change of direction there is better than this. This is looking bad. Wow. No way. All right, so it's back to historical lows. And it stays as a near fail now. Litecoin, it went from neutral to a hold. There's the first of the holds in this whole thing. Really, wow, terrible. Did a move up, but it's not a 1, 2, 3 bottom yet. It's a 12-hour. This is a tough one. It could have been a signal here. This is technically kind of a 1, 2, 3 bottom. The exponential moving average did cross over, but now that it's pulling back, it's giving us another chance to think about it a little bit. I hope it comes back into some tight range for a while inside something like this. Then it would give a nice clear spot to make a considered move on it. We'll have to see how this plays out over time. Right now, I guess I would have to leave it as a hold because it did move up above those levels, and I'm not doing trading signals, just bullish, bearish. Gotta keep reminding myself that. Mana. Mana is pulling back, but neutral. It was an alert, now it's neutral. I believe in this to be a long-term thing, Mana, because of Decentraland, and I think that'll expand into something we can't imagine. Navcoin is inside the 1, 2, 3 bottom here, so it stays neutral. NMR is also neutral in that it's held itself up here and staging. This could be turning into an alert pretty quickly, actually. That kind of stage at those technical levels. It's such a short history of chart that it's hard to do technical analysis on it, actually. NXT, fail. OMG. Okay, you're pulling back to neutral for today, but tomorrow you could be a near fail if you're going down any further than that. I'm surprised. I thought this project had more to it, actually. The marketing got to me. Omni, fail. Pascal, fail. Poly was an alert. Was an alert? Well, that's the 12-hour view. So yeah, okay, I could see where it would have been an alert and now it's moved back to near fail. I can see where it has the potential to be the bottom formation and the breakout above that, and it holds that potential still. It'll turn back into an alert if we start to edge back up to those levels there. Quantum, I love the name of it. It should be doing better. It's okay though. It's holding its own there to a neutral stance, a little bit lower, and I would call it a near fail. Rep. was holding its own and it's failed off more. So I'll just mark that as a fail from where it was to where it is now. It's a fail. Now Coin was getting some trading volume over on Poloniex, so there's something building up in this, I do believe. Let me clear this off. It's potentially coming up to a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but even on the 4-hour time frame, the exponential moving average hasn't turned around. So when that's the case, then you're much more likely to get touched in on a great looking breakout that just comes back and hits your stop. Touched in on a great looking breakout that just comes back and touches your stop. So those I try to filter out by staying at the 12-hour time frame view, and then you get into less of these and out of less of them as they're happening. Coin, I guess I would put it as neutral. Could be near fail. Maybe I'm being generous. SNT. Okay, you hold neutral status still. This is really good. I'm glad to see that we're finding so many neutral markets, that we're not just seeing on like just slaughterhouse going on. This one holds its neutral status as well. Very good. Storage, a pet project of mine, also holds its neutral status. A pet in that I just like it. It's not mine at all. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation holding here. Let's zoom in on this. What happened? So it really got hammered as Bitcoin took off, but rebounded relative to Bitcoin, relative to itself. Relative to US dollar, it did not go up as fast as Bitcoin. Otherwise, I guess, no, it couldn't have. Otherwise, it would be level the same. At any rate, Stellar remains neutral in our color coding. Strat holds its neutral status. It was an alert the other day, but it's pulled back a little bit, neutral for now. Viacoin was neutral and has gone to fail. I think that's the first fail we have of that Viacoin for a long time. That's the first fail notification on Viacoin since I started doing this in January. And actually I started doing it back in September of 2018 and did it sideways there for quite a while. Then at the end, I started getting more detailed with prices. That's when I started the alerts package. It's much more detailed. So now let's go on to VTC. Well, I'm glad you like the information, Reggae Man. That's fantastic. There will be more. It's not the number of people. Really, I do this for selfish reasons. I do because this helps my trading. This helps me do better at my own trading. I have to do this anyway. And if I can help you guys, I'm making a difference in the world. That's about how it wraps up. It's not a secret, any of this stuff. And there's no limit to it. If you guys all benefit, it doesn't take away from what I can benefit. This is selfish reasons I do this. Now, this is neutral, but pretty near fail. What is it, VTC? Let's zoom out. 3-month view. Near fail. I don't like it, but it is. XEM, I have more of this than I thought I did, actually. I found some the other day and went, oh, I should have sold it. Now it's inside here. It's good. It's still neutral. I think it's going to do really good in the long term, so I'm not selling mine, but always nice to find a hidden treasure. There's a failing market. And I'm going to go to a longer term view of this because earlier I was making predictions of it coming down to 006. Back around when it was breaking here, I thought, oh yeah, if it breaks this kind of trend line, we're going down. And then the Fibonacci gave us the 006 sort of level back to these old historical levels. And it's taken a long time, and it looked like a bottom formation, but now that it's broken down below these levels, and if it's retesting from below and failing, I think that this is going down. And I could be completely wrong. In fact, that's how I assume when I start out a trade, Just like I assume that when I'm crossing the road that a car is going to come and hit me. I assume it's going to. And so I look both ways to ensure that I protect against that. It's the same thing with trading. When I put on a trade, I assume that I'm wrong and that there's going to be a train come and hit me, like Clamcoin. Ideally, and I only hold a trade that proves me correct, put my stop loss right above my entry as soon as I can, because they get screwed over and over and over and over again if I don't do it. So those risk control rules at the beginning are amazing. Andrew Williams, good to have you along. Good to have you from the Netherlands. I've always heard such good things about the Netherlands. XMR is still neutral. After all that, it's still inside this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It has to come down and press against these lows and crack lower. Would I short this? No, but I sold out of XMR as it broke these levels. I'm not shorting anything. I'm not shorting anything because look at this volume coming in. This is not stoppable. There is the dike has been broken, the water has started, and once it starts going, the size of it is beyond most of our comprehensions, really. Even though we see these bars and we see all these dots and we compare that against Bitcoin, the world's money against Bitcoin, it's inconceivable. For my brain, anyway. XMR. Fail. Near fail. XPM. Fail. I don't know what that project is or anything. Ripple. Will Ripple ever do what everybody was so excited about it doing when prices were just breaking this uptrend line? Wasn't it amazing, all of the word about Ripple and how it was going to be a $1 trillion market and it was going to go from, what was it, 50 cents a coin to $5 to $50 to $500. Some people say it's going to $5,000. And then other people say there's no way because of the infinite supply of the coin, and on, back and forth. 1, 2, 3 top formation. Forget the news. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Starting to pay attention, but not yet. It's still neutral. And that's it. That's it. Like, that's all of the computation. That's all of the understanding you need. Those are the markets I did best in, is the ones I just traded the pattern. The ones I knew most about and was most passionate about, I held on to it when I shouldn't have. FOMO bought into it when it started and then it pulled back. Just the worst trading of all. Those are the, anyway, this would be neutral. ZRX. Also neutral, but darn near fail. I almost want to put that as a near fail, but I'll put it as neutral for now. And for some reason, the spreadsheet is not loading up the color coding right now, so there might be unknown function in my count the color codes. I'll have to fix that later. But overall, we can see visually that we have a lot of gray. It's not a lot of orange and red yet. So maybe in the next couple days, this will turn to more orange and red. And we'll know that that is happening when we see Bitcoin dominance breaking higher significantly from here. It's probably going to crush the alts. And this one dumping. So as this dumps, this is the measure of all of the alts. I think this is the measure of all of the alts put together, because we've seen so many of them match this pattern come down to this May 13th. But overall, most of them are holding up. They are not cracking down to new lows below the 13th yet. We'll see what happens as Bitcoin dominance gains some strength here. For my own part, I'm still biased. I'm still a bull looking around for the bullish signs because of all of this volume coming in. There are too many new on-ramps to buying cryptocurrencies. Look at the altcoin market cap going up. There's too many different on-ramps for buying cryptocurrencies. As the excitement starts to grip people and the alts start to move, it's going to be frenzy. It'll be a frenzy. And here the frenzy is beginning. So if you were thinking about should I FOMO in or not, this is the kind of second when you could consider it. And you have to wait for it to come to a consolidation and give you that little edge. Now you can take the risk, right? You put on a little bit of your, say you got $100 and you buy $20 worth of Bitcoin now and you're waiting. It gets up to $30, $40 worth of value. Then you can add on the rest because you've got some protection. You've got some cushion from that first trade that you put on. But you got to be ready to be selling out of this one quickly because it's coming up to historical highs. Best time to buy, worst time to buy. But if you are correct and you're buying into something, you always want to pay more when you're buying the next lot and the next lot and the next lot. If you're not paying more, it's not proving you're correct. It should be going up like that. So this is good. Good news so far. The alts are not getting completely crushed by Bitcoin, but they are being stressed. So I'm hoping, and I've been wrong before, I'm hoping that the alts are going to just be stressed for a bit and then they're going to bounce and come up, as we've seen with, we started to see with Ethereum coming up and bouncing back, but it's not holding up very well. Stellar's not holding up very well. So as Bitcoin starts to show more pressure upwards, it's getting some panic selling. Litecoin as well. Are there EOSs going? Where is my Binance? POA, DENT, ARN. Free chapter. If you haven't got the free chapter, go over to digitalcurrencytraders.com and get the free chapter from my book. You can save 80% if you want to spend $15 and that's your first time here. You can get the entire book. This is the textbook for the 3-week cryptocurrency trading course. It is what these crypto signals are based on, and it's what this spreadsheet here down below is based on that we are following through. Bitcoin, so there it is, taking off out of there. We wanted to go and take a look at EOS. There we go. Beautiful. Anything that is holding its own, we got 3 higher lows here. It's a candidate to be watching and a candidate to be really digging into the RSI, the on-balance volume, the MACD indicator to verify what's going on here, and then get ready with your risk control rules. So you'd start off with a small position, add on to it if you're correct, and you're laughing. Good as gold. But it's also a spooky time. You just got to really watch this and that entry so that you're only holding it if it proves you correct. Now I wanted to go and see POA over on Binance. Binance, Bitcoin, get rid of the favorites. Scroll. POA. Zoom in. Wow, that's unexpected. So it dipped down a little bit when Bitcoin took off and then blasted. What's going on with that? We'll have to watch and see what's going on. But it is a formation that's a valid formation. So if you were watching for this 1, 2, 3 bottom and you had an order put in there and you got wicked into this trade, then it's time to pay full attention and zoom back into the trade if you got bought into it just by being prepared in advance with your buy order and it's come up and it's bought you into it. Now I would be watching to say, when do I move my stop loss up? Because right now, because I first put the trade on, my stop is down below technical levels. I'd be waiting now to see, and literally watching it to see, am I going to hold this or not? Am I going to keep this or not? I'm only going to keep it if it keeps proving me correct. It has to prove me correct. That's not looking good. And so I may manually say, you know what? I want a trade at a time when the market is all turning and everything else is going it's got to go up high and stay above my entry. I don't want to mess around with jumping in and out. If I'm in and it doesn't look right, I don't want to hold it. I only want to hold it if it proves me correct. And there will be a time. This will go down. It'll make a formation. I'll have the chance to get back in. So I just start off with a little wee bit. If I had $100, maybe I would have put in 20, maybe 40 to start off with. It's proved me correct so far, and I'm holding a wee bit of a profit, but standing right there ready to close this trade if it doesn't go up and make it a clean entry. All right, so now it's pulled back a little bit even more. Depends on your risk tolerance now when you're going to hold this and when you're going to get out. And those are things that you need to decide beforehand, because if we are in a downtrend and this is just a little quick pump, then this is just, that's all it is, and it's going to be coming down against you. You don't want to hold it if it's not proving you correct. There we go. It's come down too far. I would just say, nice try this time. Even if you're taking off from here, now it's out of my hands, it's out of my range, and I wouldn't enter it back in again. Now I would make it complete the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on a longer time frame and give me a better clean entry to get in there. I don't want to be FOMO in and out. If it didn't prove me correct on this, I'm out, and I'll wait for another consolidation. I don't want to jump in on these big moves, only out of the consolidation. That's my own thinking, my own approach to it. Which means that all the way through 2018, most of this trading plan wasn't any good. It didn't help. I didn't offer my trading course at all through that whole time of the downtrend. There was no point. There was no bottom formations shaping up. There's no need to teach people this formation, this pattern. Now, everything is setting up. It's time to really pay attention. That's a lot of volume coming in on that buy there. Let's go back to the 4. Things are easing off just a little bit. And if we go against Bitcoin value, let's see if the alts are recovering a little bit now against Bitcoin. So the dominance is pulled back. It's spiked up and it's consolidating. We'll see what happens there. And while we did see the altcoin market cap versus dominance took a hit, like we see on many of the alts, it has recovered. Now it's coming up against resistance. What used to be support now is resistance, and this has some fight to go through to be able to break above all of this support and resistance from the past. So let's change this. And start to respect the new pattern that's here. And I don't like it. We'll see how this plays out now. We've got this one and the Bitcoin market cap, still pretty valid pattern here. Where'd that Bitcoin go? EOS is going. Now we've pretty much gone through the presentation of reviewing all of these markets so that our spreadsheet is updated. I'll update the coding or the color coding at the end. And our charts are not showing up because that data is not there. Then we've taken a good close look at Bitcoin. Here is that freaky part where you're getting in. Let me go to the 1 minute view on this. That freaky part where you're getting in and then prices are coming back to retest. So this is why you want to start off small, like a mosquito, land, fly away, land, fly away, land. Oh, now I get to sink my stinger in and enjoy my time of drinking from the fountain. And it's always tricky. This is one of the reasons, once it's moving, I'm an observer, hands on my butt. I've done it so many times, in and out. Oh, it's going up, I buy. Oh shit, it's going down, I sell. Oh, it's going up. Oh, geez. And you're down so much money after just a few jumps in and out. So now I don't, and I pay attention to slower moves, smaller positions, longer term holds, and they really work out better for me. A lot less work to do in terms of trading, a lot more sitting, and it is a lot more fun too. If you've got any other markets you want me to take a look at, we can go through any chart on any exchange. Wow. POA. What else is going on Binance right now? ARN MITH. ARN. Okay, you can see where we had our initial alerts on it way back when it had this bottom formation. And while it was good for a while, it came back and hit our stops, kicked us out with a very small profit. Now it's making the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the 4-hour time frame. It did break out above it and then came back and retested. This is a good example too. Love it. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Broke out above it. Came back and retested that level but didn't go down. So it wasn't a fake out, breakout, and then down from there like we've seen so many times, like right in here. Fake out, breakout, and then down. It came back, retested those levels, and then went up. So that it did this gives us, there's one of the clean trading signals right there. There's another more difficult trading signal right there. The break of the 1, 2, 3 bottom. Then the retest of that number 2 point and strength. That's a really good buy signal right there. It's one of my favorite now after all this time. And not on the 1 hour time frame, but actually on the 12-hour time frame. So I really want it to take its time, set itself up, change directions, come back, prove it to me. Okay, I can lazily put my stuff in there. And it's just so much easier and it works so much better. Less jumping in and out. There's the chat. So let's go and take a look at CLO, CLO on STEX exchange. And I know we've looked at this CLO. Hey, it's coming up in a few different exchanges now. Really? Is this it? Is this the right one? CLO, Domino? I don't know the STEX exchange. STEX exchange. And I know I've probably been here before. CLO. Yeah, here we go. 35 Satoshi, 35 Satoshi. This is it. So it's on a few different exchanges now. It really got hammered. So here's CLO over a long period of time. From November, December, February, new lows, kind of then down. So it's got to create a much bigger bottom formation for me now. It's such a downtrend, right back to historical lows on a ton of volume too. It's just not pretty. And so it has to, this is the 12-hour chart. I like that the MACD is showing a bit of strength here, sort of a divergence off of there. But it has to finish a much bigger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation for me now. It has to come up, pull back, retest this. And then, as you know, as it's doing this bottom formation, not even that big. That's way too big compared to the Satoshi levels. Say to the 54, if it was inside this range, then did something like that, there gives us our 2 potential places to enter out of a formation like that. It may, you know, this may be too big. It could even be smaller than this and smaller time frame as well. Meh. But usually I want it to take a lot of time. So, you know, at 34 Satoshi, you could put $5 into it, and in 2 years, it would be worth a ton of money. STEX, the stock exchange as it should be. I will have to check it out. And this is CLO, which is a project we've looked at the chart a few times as it was making these bottom formations back before. It was actually made some nice bottoms and came up. But like everything, it topped out at that point. This was a little bit earlier in March. Everything else was in April that it broke and came down further. So you have to wait on that one for me. Yeah, from 150 Satoshi. All right, so I'm going to do another plug. Shameless plug. You held that from 150 Satoshi. Probably it's going to cost you more than the alerts package here and the training that goes along with it. And so if you've taken big losses like that, then you need the whole plan from start to finish, and then you need to go through it enough times that you believe it, that you can do it when the markets are making these patterns, because it's against the way you may have traded before. And so we start off with eliminating risk, getting to know how to protect yourself against the thing that's going to take you out of trading. Look both ways before you cross the road, because you could get run over and you will get killed. And if not, you're badly maimed. And it's awful to think of. Then we go into some back testing to show you the system, get you the pattern recognition in your mind. Then I give you the entire system, the textbook to the course, so that you can go through and start to get this pattern recognition and understand how it came to me and how I've put this together. And that's all it is. It's just my own stuff. I'm not a financial advisor. I didn't take any financial training. I just learned this stuff and worked it, and it really worked. It made some fantastic profits. And then this is the part about understanding the cycle and knowing when to take profits. This is the most important part. That top formation happens, you just gotta do it, no matter how much you like the coin. And I'm still learning that lesson. I'll tell you, it's a tough one. Then you get the private Discord chat where you're talking with the people who are really doing these trading plans. More data and back testing so that you get the most optimized approach for trading these alerts that'll fit your personality. You can see what the parameters are, what the variabilities are. You can adjust them and tweak them. This is what it looks like. You get the trade type, entry signal, the target, the profit target, where the stop loss would be, all of this data included. You also get the trader's room, where we're talking about these actual trades against those specific numbers, what to do, when to get out, follow it all day by day. There's nothing like it out there. And you can get that 7-day trial for $1. So if you've lost more than $1 in trading cryptocurrencies and you're frustrated and you don't want to lose $1 again, spend $1 on yourself. You can cancel this before the 7 days up. No hard feelings, no foul. You get all that training and you get to keep it. You get all that education. I want your success. All I want is your success stories. Thumbs up, subscribe, all the basic stuff. If this is helpful for you, jump in. It's fantastic stuff. The greatest thing for me is when the lifetime members are signing up and they're buying these things for a year. They've been here for a while and they're buying it. They're coming back and they're repaying for their quarterly subscription before I remind them that it's due. These are people who are getting some value out of this stuff. So try that 7 days. You're guaranteed for $1. You can't go wrong, really. The end of plug. Let's go back to the charts. And now, of course, I'm looking for top formations. Just a breather as it's pulling back, not a top formation. However, if it starts cracking past specific levels, I already have that plan in place of what to do on a top formation. And I would hope to be great to share it with you if you haven't learned it already, so that we could chat about it in our Discord chat. I'm endlessly talking about this stuff, as you may know. I'm glad. Let's get you in there. Join the package. I'm super excited about it. We're having this spreadsheet updated right now, and a programmer is working on it so that will be email alerts when an alert is triggered. It'll bring you right so that you can make the decision on that trade. And we're setting it up so that you're not going to get flooded with email, but I'll update that as it's running smoothly. It's just getting to testing and working now. Super exciting stuff. Look at this taking off. My goodness. So that about wraps it up. What was there any coin I didn't look at yet? VET versus BTC. VET. Binance. I don't know if it's a favorite or not. So scroll down to VET. I know VET, VIB, they're all being hammered. But it's staying above this number 1 point over here from the 13th. This is a key. If we get a majority or even 20% of the market falling below this, it's like the deck of cards, the house of cards. You get 20% of those cards starting to fall, you know that house is done. Everything is coming down. And we're going to be on a longer downtrend with these alts. And I don't want it. That's why I'm doing these videos, is so that I can identify it and protect my butt if needs be, and be reducing the size of some of my alt positions. And again, you just have to do it without thinking about it. You can't have an opinion. If it passes these levels, this is what you do. There's just statistically, you can always buy these things back later. Bitcoin's going up. It's on an uptrend. Alts are going down. It's a downtrend. So it may turn around right at this very second, but it's certainly not looking like it. And it'll confirm if we're getting a bunch of these markets cracking down below that 13th level. So here, this is above the May 13th level. And so we can just go through above or below. Look at this, May 13th, it's cracking below May 13th level for Walton coin. And that's too bad. I bought some Walton coin here. It was nice and profitable. I didn't take my profits when it was breaking these levels. So Walton coin is not good. Waves, what are you doing? Not bad, holding itself there. WAN coin, you were making a bottom and now you're testing those levels. Wabi also down to really precarious levels for all of these alts. And we can see the average of it, though, is bouncing back. Even though a bunch of them are down at precarious levels. Zoom this back. If this is an average of all of the alts, and some of them are down at these precarious levels, it's got to be a bunch of them are not. And I want to sort those out now. The ones that are at these I want to filter those out and pay attention to these ones that are holding best. Those are already bullish. And I think that those ones that are holding the best would be the first ones to be taking off out of these 1, 2, 3 bottoms. And so those would be like the first row of soldiers, our first platoon going to be going out and making us profit. And I want to identify that platoon, get them all organized up in front, know where those 1, 2, 3 bottom formations are, and then be watching them. Second platoon, I want to know where they are so that when the first one's done, I can take my profits and put all that money into that second wave, and they go up and bring up that money in. We had those waves happen from December to the end of March, and you can bet your booties that we're going to get those waves again coming up. So we'll have those waves and those waves and those waves, and there's different coins that we're taking off and making top formations and coming down. Then there was another bunch of coins making top formations, and then all of them were coming down from this point here. And so I want to know what this first wave was back in December and what the second wave was back from the middle of February, and be ready to be putting the money into wave number 1, know when that's going to be topping out, and we're getting out and putting money into wave number 2, getting out of those and putting money into gold and silver, who knows, something else. Great fun. This is always such a phenomenal hobby, except that when you're bag holding and it goes against you. So let's go back. Wrap it up by looking at what Bitcoin's doing right now. Overall prognosis is that the alts are still holding, but it is getting precarious. It is a downtrend. Bitcoin is on an uptrend. We'll tune in tomorrow or the next day. We'll do this very same study again, probably faster, and we'll go through all of these coins and we'll update this spreadsheet so that we know objectively how far along the bull and bear market is. Where do we put our money? Do we slosh it into Bitcoin and let it go? Or do we keep watching those altcoins? Just hold. Good to have you along, Eric. Thanks for being here, Domino. Yasmin, good to have you here as well. We'll grow this channel over time. This information will get out. Lots of people will get money off of it, and I hope everybody makes some profits for sure. So when am I taking profits on BTC? I didn't see that, Lukman Khan. When am I taking profits? Maybe I did say that. I don't know. It'll be the top formation. And so I'll just only be watching for that top, watching for the top, watching for the top. And a percentage of the Bitcoin that I have is in cold storage, and it's probably going to be years before I want to take that stuff out. And I don't care. It went from $15,000 down to whatever it was. I don't care. It didn't matter. I'm not touching that stuff. That's got a decade. It's going to be like old brittle paper by the time I'm taking those paper wallets out of the safety deposit box in the bank. And occasionally when I make some really good profit off of trades, I transfer money into there. It's the one-way money trap. There's no way to get that money out. I can put it in, but it ain't coming out without a key, the safety deposit box. You know, it's just not happening. So I have a few different wallets in there, and I recommend it. When you get a big profit, lock it away. This isn't game, this stuff. This is not just monopoly money. This isn't PayPal when it first started. This is insane. We have no idea. I'll remind you again of the size of the world's money market. This is the derivatives. I don't know what the derivatives are. This is when you get a market derived from the value of something else. So this would be a futures market. So you have a couple train loads of lumber, and you have some contracts on that lumber, and people are trading the contracts on that lumber back and forth. That's what you're deriving the value of that contract based on the actual commodity underneath it, as far as I understand. And the derivatives market, the futures market, is huge. We can see the size of this. Each square is the size of Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. And so when this money starts sloshing over into the cryptocurrencies and starts not just the little trickle of all of us enthusiasts and some of the skeptical it's unthinkable what's going to happen with the price of Bitcoin and these altcoins. So really, holding is really important. And I think lending is a really good option. If you have a chance to go to an exchange where you can just lend it, hold it and lend it, go on your day about making more money and saving that and buying $20 of cryptocurrencies every payday. Buy another $20 every week. Instead of going to Starbucks, go to and buy another $20 worth of cryptocurrencies. Don't change anything else. Just keep doing that. $20 of this one, $20 of that one. And just, it's insane. We really, nobody is talking about the magnitude of this properly. As far as I see, everybody's talking about the $1 million is the magnitude that is more reasonable. So buy, hold, lend. And now I'm going to sign off, get a glass of water, and there is an evening yoga class I think I will go and enjoy. Good luck in all of your cryptocurrency trading. I can't wait to come back from yoga and see what's happened with all of these markets. It's crazy. These are days where people are getting screwed completely. It's very dangerous, more dangerous than driving a car. Because if you make a mistake driving a car, other people will swerve around you to protect you from your own mistake. If you make a mistake in trading, people are not swerving around you. They are trying to take your money. It's much more dangerous than driving a car. Anyway, I'm off. Cheers. Bye for now. Where's my ending music?